Hello, everybody. So for those who don't keep up with Death Battle schedule, um, normally this episode would have released tomorrow. Um, there is one official reason for that, and one potentially unofficial reason for that. The official reason is they are testing algorithm shit. So they're testing to see how the metrics do by releasing on Saturday compared to releasing on Sunday. The unofficial reason is about 4 hours after, or not 4 hours, shortly after the premiere was posted, the entire fucking episode got leaked on YouTube. Supposedly this was just a case of YouTube's premiere system fucking up, and the person who leaked it got to record it on their phone. And it thankfully is not a member of the crew who leaked it, as far as we know. But yeah, their official reason is totally possible. I could also just see it being the case of it got out in the wild, so they said fuck it.
Which I say valid.
Because we know all too well how media on the internet can continue to exist. Anyway, I will pull this up real quick. I don't know, entirely how much of an attachment anyone in chat has to either of these characters, so this may not be applicable at all.
I don't know who any of these guys are.
Actually, I have several Shigaraki tattoos on me, right now. I put them there myself.
That makes sense, yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
How low do you think of me? Or you think I'd get an My Hero Academia tattoo?
Why not? Actually, I do know who one of them is.
Bro, you got it from your friends on the playground with the other fucking 7-year-olds that are pogging at Shigaraki. Sorry, I'm being really mean for no reason. To be clear, I have read all of both of these series to completion.
Oh.
Same.
I haven't read to completion. I dropped both mangas after a point. You can probably guess what point.
When they get really power
I can guess for
creepy?
My Hero. Or not for My Hero. I can guess for Jujutsu Kaisen. I cannot guess where in particular you would drop My Hero. Because it would depend on your reasoning. Can you give me the reason you dropped My Hero in an abstract way?
It was shortly after Deku got 20 quirks.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
no, that makes sense.
So you just dropped it in the wake of this dude is about to be handed a bevy of superpowers.
Yeah,
I will let you know, for the sake of I'm going to be the voice of YouTube comments here. They're treated more as a Batman utility belt. Up until the one that he gets that breaks physics. At which point, the utility belt is secondary to he has put himself on a Goku time limit.
So, I will say this, though. I do really like both these characters.
Oh yeah, I think both of these characters are good. I think Shigaraki was at his best before the second half of the series. I thought he was more of a fun character when he was simply a guy and not an archetype for everything wrong with society. But that is also where he is in universe, so he gets to live there.
And Mahito is just one of those villains that is so unrepentantly horrible and entertaining you can't help but enjoy him. I'm not going to say like him, because that has some connotations, but he's a nasty bastard man.
I think I watched My Hero up to when the villains were fighting other villains, and then there was gonna be a villain.
Yeah, My Villain Academia.
Yeah, I wanted to see Deku.
I was getting really tired of when I was reading through Jujutsu Kaisen, and the hero of the week beating and getting their ass beat by what's his name? Every like two things he'd be like, oh my god, it's this guy from like at the beginning of the series, he's back. Oh, he's dead. Okay, well,
the Sukuna cycle,
yeah. Yeah, it was like the main villain was just cycling through every character that he had, and then eventually like, yeah, but like, where's what's his name? The hero? Like, oh my god, where? Oh, he's fighting him. Oh, he got knocked out again, and now here's this guy. It's like
you dropped it during the final battle.
Yes, where he was just running through the entire
Literally
cast.
The final battle.
Admittedly, that's also kind of where I dropped it.
Didn't a lot of people not realize that was going to be the final battle as well? Like, it got really like announced very suddenly that the series was ending.
Yeah, now it's really abrupt.
Definitely. The thing was, we were so deep in the sauce on the final battle that when they were like, it ends 3 chapters from now, we were all looking at the half-finished fight like, how?
Yeah,
I know. Like, what the hell, man?
The best character is off fighting some lady just off screen for the past 40 chapters!
Yeah,
like, what the hell was that?
And then the entire fight just ends off screen?
Where the fuck is Hikari? He made the second half of this series worth reading!
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the author and off-screening, like, really cool shit. As we all know, who died, that like was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen.
I can tell you why they off-screened a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I think 2 weeks in a row I'm gonna be like the guy the YouTube comments are really mad at, but like for a different reason this time. They off-screened a lot of stuff the more the series went on because it's a potential series. It's Potential Man the series, and like it's every fight has the potential to be really cool, but they're a hack. So as long as they have the fight off screen, the fight stays in the realm of potential and gets to remain cool and based. The moment they show the fight, they have to write it, and then it falls apart. So as long as they keep the fight off screen and keep it in the land of potential, it gets to remain cool forever.
Yeah, I've also seen Ruby.
I would agree with you on the second half of Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know I agree with you on the first half of that, but...
First half of JJK is good. Like, up until where the anime is currently adapted, I would say is the good part of JJK. Actively.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think it got worse the more it went on. Because, like, things got more complex and the stakes got higher, which means stronger writing was needed, and that's kind of where it started to fall apart.
That's the thing. It didn't even introduce more. I'm going to be spoiling some of Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm
the
assuming
show
will.
It's also going to be spoiling Jujutsu Kaisen, so.
Yeah, up to like halfway where this guy dies, I guess. Maybe they don't spoil past that. That'd be funny. If Hikari is used the power scale, is it Hikari or Hikari? It's Hikari.
I think it's Hikari.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they use Hikari to power scale spiritual energy or cursed energy, that'd be very funny to me. Because that would mean that Invincible Clown Man and his pachinko powers are integral to the lore.
Yeah, I will say this is kind of tangent, but I mean a lot
of times... the rest of it hasn't been?
Well, this is getting more into shonen as a whole rather than just Jujutsu Kaisen or MHA. In general, like, it's so rare for a shonen show or manga to end well.
True.
I'd say My Hero did. It was taking a while, but it landed it, in my opinion. I know that's a maybe like severely controversial take because people seem to really dislike that ending, but no, I'd say that was the only way that series could have ended, written as it was.
I think that they should have kept Deku working at McDonald's. I think they should have.
But yeah, so that is all to say.
Koichi Hamawari's the better My Hero Academia protagonist anyway, bye.
This episode is actually was one of my most wanted. Because there are other matchups for Mahito in particular and Shigaraki that go into like their personalities rather than just like they look kind of similar and have similar power sets. But it doesn't have the same contrast that Shigaraki and Mahito does, where Shigaraki is evil, like he's not a good person, but he has standards unlike Mahito.
He is a human being as opposed to a conglomeration of the evil of humanity as a guy.
Yeah, so...
Hey, what is this guy? He is the personification of man's inhumanity to man? Great, who's this asshole? Oh, this is a traumatized child that I raised and gaslit into being a villain.
Yeah, that being said, and I'm not going to say anything regarding the rest of this episode. I am going to keep all of you spoiler-free, especially since this just came out today. There were two things going into this episode that I wanted. One, I want Shigaraki to dress Mahito the fuck down. Two, I wanted, All for One or another, vestige of Shigaraki's to fill the Sukuna role when, Mahito hits a domain expansion.
You said a bunch of words that I didn't understand.
You'll learn.
I would agree, except for I do think the All for One getting to show up as Cameo Man in the middle of the domain expansion would happen. I do think that Shigaraki himself is the reason that it fails. Like 100%.
Well, let us get into it.
Let us mention
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of fear versus the human disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
Which one's which?
What was that?
There's All for One and One for All. Which one's which again?
All for One is the evil guy because it's all for
Thank
one,
you.
and One for All is
Thank
the good
you.
guy because it's everything.
Thank
for
It's
you.
everyone.
one power being used for everybody instead of everybody's powers being used for one guy.
I'm not really good at names, full stop. So when they have very similar names, I get confused.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It does. It's great. I'm stupid. Thank you.
Their weapons,
You can
armor,
continue now.
and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Tenko Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he activated his inherent superpower, or
League of Legends of Smash Bros. Player.
He is a League player.
That is canon. He has canonically
He's like,
played
he
League of Legends.
He played.
He is
Who's he playing?
canonically
Who's his
a jungler, which is why he's so insane.
That's the most selfish role.
Honestly, legitimately, you going, this is a League of Legends jungler. He's now a supervillain. And I'm like, oh, sick. Understandable. And they're like, yeah, he had a childhood. Oh, I'm like, it's not because of the League? Oh, that's crazy. Any League of Legends jungler is going to be driven to murder eventually.
I like the Smash player mention because it was an offhand reference that Horikoshi, I think his name is, the mangaka, made where like he and Spinner played Smash Bros together and like they understood each other on like a primal level.
He picked Meta Knight.
It wasn't something cool like flight or super strength. In his terror, he accidentally killed his whole family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets alone, silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for One. the greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his League of Villains in destroying Hero Society.
With that came a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin. Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust. The perfect power for someone who just wants to destroy. Pretty menacing, if not for that dorky-ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing.
Hey, now 1 second here.
What?
That costume goes hard.
I love that costume. That costume's sick as hell.
I don't know why the ones at the back have tentacles. That probably isn't necessary, but the hands all over the body, that's sick. The author, though, going, I can't draw hands. I'm going to make a villain covered in 40 hands, so I have to learn by force is also pretty funny.
That's fair.
But come on, they just look so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands from his family that he killed, attached to his face, and explicitly commanded to be left there by his mentor.
Let's be real, they're probably not actually his family's hands. All for One probably just killed some motherfuckers and took their hands.
Relatively weak, it rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out anything from an enormous tower to an entire city.
If decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team with one mission. He must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero, All Might.
Only to fall flat on his face.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted, and, well...
Cringe! Oh, he's just so cringe. He
League of Legends mentioned.
uses gamer lingo.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I don't know if he did it, like, later on in the series, but early Shigaraki, spoke so much in gamer lingo.
Early Shigaraki was actually just like a gamer that had been given evil superpowers. Later Shigaraki was, he has been forced to read My Hero Academia up to this point, and he's had enough. He wants it over. Right, yeah, that was a character. That was a personality. That went away.
He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But they say defeat is the greatest teacher of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Right as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All for One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight, and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front.
Yeah, for the record, this is probably where you stopped, Sonia. I was trying to remember the name of the arc, but yeah, it was the,
My Villain Academia is the name of the arc.
Oh, is it? I thought it was like...
the title. No, that's not a joke. That's the name of the arc.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like
They
Metal
changed
Liberation.
the title card and everything.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they did. I just... it went for a long time.
It was doing this alongside keeping up with the Todorokis, which isn't Deku.
Yes.
Granted, the Todoroki plotline is probably one of the better parts of this entire series for actually having nuance and writing. But also,
I really liked it.
Your main character's over there.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I was sent a message by one of my friends literally earlier today of Izuku lost half his freckles, his red shoes, his dream, his quirk, his personality. Like, damn, Hori, what did Deku do to you?
Yeah.
Thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All to impress all for One's personal quack. Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly
cloud splitting feats. What would we do without you?
Almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
And Shigaraki can now move fast enough that his body produces hypersonic shockwaves and can even catch laser beams.
And he's tough enough to survive Star and Stripes' Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch. Now the new name for my penis.
That's America's #1 hero right there, baby. She died in 4 chapters.
She sure did.
However, I will say,
USA.
She won. Like,
she did win, technically.
She died, she absolutely fucking won that fight.
USA.
Pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay became, oh shit, more hands.
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate flesh into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing compared to Ujiko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All-for-One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All-for-One's quirk, All-for-One, allows its user to steal and store quirks with just a touch.
And All-for-One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kinda like a...
Did something happen to the Birdman? Did the Birdman die?
He lived.
Oh,
Hawks? Yeah, no, Hawks is fine-ish.
No, I don't know if he's fine, but he
I
lived.
said fine-ish.
Yeah.
He's alive.
I do like how...
he's alive.
Later in My Hero Academia, like, we got superpowers as the excuse for a good long while, but towards the end of the series, we really do straight up get into, like... I can't remember it. There is a post floating around somewhere about Resident Evil villains who are just like, you see, I'm about to evolve to humanity's new pinnacle. Violates the conservation of mass instantly.
Hell yeah.
And that's really Shigaraki later. Because he's just making shit happen, and they're like, that's not his quirk. His body can produce like several kilotons of weight. And it's like, how? He's a dude.
Piece of their soul.
You got fucked up physics out
kind
there.
of psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks like super fast healing, air blast, radio waves, flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All-for-One's vestige, that means All-for-One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's entire life.
Actual shoutouts. Generational hater on the list. Like, there were a couple of truly generational haters out there that I recognize for the title. Fucking Reverse Flash, Dr. Doom, Kendrick Lamar. All-for-One is one of them.
True.
Just absolutely generational hatred on display at all times.
Kendrick Lamar being put in the same league. Like, you're right. Don't get me wrong.
It's the closest we're gonna get to supervillain
buddy,
shit.
didn't you watch the Super Bowl?
I did. She's
Jesus.
right. I'm not saying she's wrong. It's just funny.
It's true. But yeah,
he's getting sued for his rap song being just too mean.
The other thing is, right?
Court, actually,
so many of these people are like, Doom is wanting to do it for a better world, right? Kendrick is doing it for Kendrick reasons. I would argue that only Reverse Flash and All For One are truly doing it for love of the game. Like, truly and deeply, those two are just in it for the hater energy.
Yeah, they're the only two that I could see, like, getting everything they ostensibly want and just continue going. Like...
One purpose: to create a soul so corrupted it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All For One to take full control.
But All For One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All For One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
Yeah, Shigaraki's analysis was pretty good, I'd say. I think it really delves into why Shigaraki is why he is. So how much did you learn, Sonia, as someone who is not familiar with either of these characters?
Well, Hawkman got hurt.
Okay.
Oh no, I do kind of I understand my hero on the most part. It did go off the rails towards the end, but I get it from the emotional level, power level. Do take power possessed, but then forgot about how cranky boy was. Boy win, yay. The end.
Ever since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has
Abel
been
mentioned
his
what?
fellow man.
What if this fear took on a life of its own?
What if all that negative emotion humans felt for one another spilled from their bodies and congealed, forming, over time, a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle?
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with a patch face, Mahito. Oh, I've had people tell me I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever
Lives in a society.
They had that with Shigaraki too!
I didn't catch it.
It's very funny. I do like age a few months old. Because he is. He's like a literal child.
He's no mere mortal though, but a cursed spirit. Innumerable spirits exist, weaker or stronger depending on the amount of anxieties, jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits way stronger, faster, and tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also
Damn, a life or death situation, huh? Gee, I wonder what the name of the show is. Be anything.
makes cursed spirits virtually immune to
Welcome
physical
back
damage.
to Small
They may be
Squabble.
physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter
Playground
like
beef.
cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to get rid of, like ghosts, cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need a jujutsu sorcerer.
They're a little
to come in
similar
and
to
Kaizen
Chainsaw Man
the
Devils,
shit out of
yeah.
'em. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have battled each other for millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito is special. You see, most curses are basically dumb animals, but Mahito has so much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a
He's a bitch!
dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the wolf.
He's the Joker,
Which
baby.
also makes him kind of a goofball. If nothing matters, why not have fun with the slaughter? Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before slitting your throat.
An appropriate analogy considering his curse technique, idol transfiguration.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu
That fucking...
It's a little worm.
Would you love me if I was still a worm?
I love this little shithead! He sucks so much!
Sucks so bad.
He's such a little fucker.
Guys, that's what I look
Jujutsu
like in real
Kaisen,
life.
The soul and the body
Oh, I'm
share
sorry.
an immutable connection.
Damn.
Whatever happens
I
to the
still love you,
former
worm.
affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants. Like Play-Doh, he can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins like a fish, reform his body around injuries, or even create clones.
Curse users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations to their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's
Yeah.
attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't.
Man,
Okay, it said chapter 259 not healed, but they really buried the lead on that one. I attached a small clapper to my arm. It will allow me to vibrate it at many times the old speed.
God, he's...
Teleporting instantly.
Toto
that
is so cool.
That was
doohickey
so
on me.
fucking cool. There are a couple characters from Jujutsu Kaisen that are just like, you deserve a better series.
last
True.
more than a few moments
I
in a
can't believe
transfigured
that
state.
Toto really
that
put the
with one
doohickey on.
touch. God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he gets to break your spirit first and watch you suffer.
Even more twisted is when he combines two transfigured humans together for soul multiplicity, essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that he repels at an opponent. Yeah.
Rum Rusher, so when this was announced when we did the last SL Saturday, Emily described it in the best way, which was, yes, this is the final boss versus the guy who died at the end of Disc 1.
Yeah.
Mahito is unbelievably creative with his application of idol transfiguration, and despite being a newborn
Hold on, I
Body
need to get another
horror
shot of
flesh
that.
that he repels at an opponent. Yeah.
Mahito is unbelievably creative with his
This is the most buried lead fight, basically. Like, unless they pull some real horse shit, this is absolutely buried lead fight.
application of
This little shithead.
He sucks
Literally.
idol
Literally a little
transfiguration, and
shithead.
despite being a newborn curse, consistently keeps experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the Black Flash.
By applying cursed energy within 1 microsecond of an impact with
Okay,
an enemy,
A lot of
space
things I can criticize about Jujutsu Kaisen. And this is one of them. The author going, you know what? Critical hits exist in my power system. Kick ass. Fantastic. Thank you. Good shit. That's so fun to have. The fact that everybody starts pulling it off consistently near the back half of the series, dog shit. Required for combat now. Active. It's
What,
like,
you hate crit builds? You hate what?
okay, but he literally it's treated like a crit build, right? At first, it's just like critical hits are a thing that can happen within the system, and later on, it's like, okay, your super gets a 25% cooldown every time you crit. If you crit consecutively, your super will be coming off of cooldown faster. Crits can bypass greater defenses and do have an exponential power scaling with the amount they put into strength. So if you have a strength build and you land a crit, it'll allow you to kind of get hits in on people that won't be able to do it. But if you're more of a super focused build, you can definitely land a couple of crits in quick succession, manage to get that back before your opponent. That'll be the deciding factor in some later fights.
You do have a soft cap at 60% crit. You have to start raising attack
Not
speed
anymore.
after that.
Nope. Unless you're also going
new
into
patch?
luck. And if you have a luck build going in, you can get around the 60% crit cap. And that is
Whoa,
required.
luck raises the cap? That's crazy.
It is specifically required if you are trying to do the protagonist route, right? If you're the protagonist, the writing specifically has to say that this motherfucker can inexplicably crit every single time. At one point during a fight, they're going like, wow, it seems like he'll definitely land a crit this next time he attacks, because I can sense the narrative direction this fight is going, and I recognize the warrior spirit of the single draw samurai battle that we're about to have. But as it so happens, later in fights, it's just like, yeah, he's been landing a critical hit every single move for the past 270 blows. And I'm just like, a dude, like 3/4 of this series ago was lucky to get 4. And he is at the end of thousands of years of heritage here. But whatever. Yeah, fuck it. Crit builds are horseshit. Find a better build.
Itself will distort.
No.
Exponentially.
Oh, there is another
amplifying
character
force
that's
by
all
a
luck.
factor
That
of
is a different dude. That is not a crit
Not
build,
only
dude.
does
That
it
is a
hurt like
regen
a
build, and he
mother,
kicks
it
ass.
restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. It's no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the Domain Expansion.
Oh shit! More hands! A domain is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside, Mahito can use idle transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment
But is
of
that
perfection. The ultimate
a clock out guy? He's powerful halfway through
Yes.
the day or something? Yeah,
He
I
is-
remember him.
Oh, Nanami.
If he does overtime, he gets stronger. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's forced to work off the clock, he gets an unbelievable power boost just so he can go home faster, which, holy shit, man, Nanami, your power set is so fucking cool.
expression of Mahito's absolute control over his
Yeah, they're
victim's
both hands
body
guys
and
with, like, soul
The only
manipulation
time it ever
and, like,
failed was against the
destruction
student
powers.
sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, 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 he also had a curse inside of him,
The king of curses,
Sukuna.
which meant Mahito's
Oh.
ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna didn't like that. No surprise, and kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful curses in the world, and his growth is exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jogo was able to summon a massive meteor capable of reducing the city of Shibuya to ash.
That'd take an energy of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And Mahito can take as good as he can give, especially when
God, the classic scene of Mahito just getting his fucking ass beat.
in the throes of
God,
struggle
it's
against
so
Yuji,
good.
he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form, the instant body of distorted killing.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and armed blades, this was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito was growing into, a true blight on all mankind.
It wouldn't last. In a bitter battle of resolve, Yuji won out. In a dog-eat-dog world, there was now a bigger wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. And what do you know? Life suddenly
It's true. He's a little
became
bitch.
a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to
Smiley Friends
All
reference!
that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter
Holy
hypocrisy
shit.
in the end.
I mean, it's
Maybe.
basically true, though. Like, Mahito and the Frowning Friends are very similar. In both how they act and how they ended up.
But Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees.
Let me get the prediction going.
You know what I'm sick of?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sick of, like, conceptually, like, second forms or whatever, but, like, this dude is explicitly guy who can turn into anything at any time instantly, limitlessly, and he still just fucking turns into Frieza. Still. Like,
It's peak form.
it's
that's
all
the problem.
free, like the crab. It's convergent evolution. Everything just turns into final form Frieza.
Everything
What's
just turns
that?
into crab.
I'm so sick of it. Give him
Well,
some
wouldn't
weird
you-
arms or whatever.
But wouldn't you want to become Frieza?
Was it Frieza or Cell? Cell
Both.
just turned into Frieza too!
Yeah. It just become prettier because it's easy to draw.
Actually,
Just make him
if
smooth
we're-
and give him a tail.
if
Make him
we-
smooth. Give him
if-
a tail.
Like,
if we're
let's-
being so real, Cell was part Frieza. Actually, let's so like he doesn't have to look like him because he is part Frieza. Actually,
and yet I don't see him with any
I'm gonna
decent
part
hair.
you into 2 equal pieces.
okay. Can I pay with cash or credit?
I'm gonna need the 3 numbers on the back again.
Oh yeah. 1.
What?
I'm gonna take
Just
the
one.
money of everybody that just voted Mahito. I'm literally spending as much as I can.
You know what? I'm also. Oh no,
Oh,
submission's
never mind.
closed.
It put me
No.
in-
Get out!
It put me in for the minimum. Real quick, just to be clear, Sonya, because they really tried to bury the lead on this one. This dude on the right, his most famous scene of all time is him getting bodied and running away.
Mhm.
The dude
Okay.
on the left more or less succeeded.
Yeah, see, I was thinking because you said final boss versus the guy who gets defeated in this one, and I wasn't sure until I saw him running the fuck away.
Running away
Yeah,
like a
it's
little
like-
bitch!
Yeah, exactly. It is really just like, okay, this is this is Doom Dragon versus Saturos.
I guess I have a question because
Which-
I didn't
I
finish. I
understood that
didn't finish. I didn't finish My Hero. So, like, kind of, the souls of the heroes are like in nebulously within One for All or whatever.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say nebulously, honestly.
They
They're
are. It is
basically
more
there.
like they're actually
Okay, whatever.
chatting
This
with
doesn't
him.
matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Okay.
The question is, does Decay ever directly engage with those?
Yeah.
Decay engages with the soulscape that they are like in, and there is a
Does a
distinct
Decay one,
example-
even like once, even a single time?
Decay itself does not. However, a quirk does very much beat the shit out of a whole bunch of quirks at one point.
Oh, okay, then this is a 1,000-0 matchup. This is like completely free.
Yes, and also USA.
Are set, and we've run the data
That's
through all
the only
possibilities.
time I can say it
It's
is in jest
time
nowadays.
for
You gotta let me have this
You know, that's fair.
one. I love how they spent like a significant, like a not insignificant at the very least amount of time describing how some of Mahito's powers are regeneration And that was one line in Shigaraki's power escape.
I'd heard of a powerful villain stalking these parts. My organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring them your head instead?
Fine by me. Let's call this your audition, Sickum.
Oh god, they're gonna have him kill Nomu so he doesn't do nothing in the fight? It's so over.
This is tragic.
This is actually like end of disc 1 versus end of dungeon 1. Look, he got a dub!
You beat my Goomba. Just a chance.
Look, he defeated the single Nomu that was a problem 12 episodes in.
It was a big problem. All the kids were scared.
It was a very big problem to literal children. Yes.
God, how lame!
Doing the thing.
Audition over. Did I get the part? Decay! What a rush!
Oh, he's already done Final Fall?
That all you got?
Domain expansion. I can read your soul. You're just a scared little boy whose daddy was mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Off my masterpiece.
It's just like a fighting game. If you use your super first in neutral, you do just lose.
You were born that way.
Or like the Fast and the Furious. If you hit your nos first, you lose the race.
It's just like iconic technique of running away.
You grow up.
That's such a in character insult, but very funny. You grow up.
That
Fuck you.
was an incredibly fast fight.
That was about as fast as that should have been.
I mean, it was about 4 minutes. It's about like the usual.
No, to be clear, we're not. I'm not necessarily talking about the literal time spent on the fight. I mean, in the actual. Let's really quickly track what happened there. He managed to see him before he blew him up. Great. Step 1. He sent a couple Nomu after him just to give him something. Please. Any fans of Mahito that came in here expecting anything are going to leave with even a crumb. And then they went onto a train. He managed to cut off a couple extraneous limbs that he can just grow back without any problems. He tried his super move. It didn't work. And then he got turned into dust. There were like 5 steps to this fight, and all but one of them were him getting bodied, and that one is like, it's not that big a problem.
So one thing I will point out, and this is like getting into very fine details. Let me see if I can find it real. About here. when they get knocked out.
Okay, can we go back? Wait. No. There was something I saw in the fight that you've skipped back to. I need to see it. Pause on the frame of Mahito right after he hits Shigaraki onto the tracks.
So around here?
Right after he hits him onto the tracks. Yeah, like in the next shot almost. Why his titties out so far?
Shit.
Riku. It's Buff Riku. Buff Riku located.
Why he's got it like shifts further out.
I also
plates in his torso.
I also really like the fact that they gave Mahito his own ass beating scene, but he's on the other end of it.
Yeah, it's very fun. But yeah, during these like moments where Mahito does get hits in the background, you see vestiges getting destroyed.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a cool thing at the very least. I'm checking my notes about how many quirks.
Oh yes.
Sucked.
No, shut up, Hads. We're trying to. I'm talking about cool shit.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's not you. I was yelling at the ads.
Yeah.
They kept trying to give me ad breaks.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say, Local Man manages to take 10 stocks. Total fight completely unaffected.
Basically, yeah.
Every time I punch, it kills a Mario. Wait, he's been jumping on a turtle for how many hours?
Cause this episode is awash with impact frames.
That's really good.
Ooh.
Goal.
But the movement is very sleek in all the battle.
Oh yeah,
and
no, the actual animation is very good.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
This is a very gorgeously animated and well thought out coughing baby versus high.
Yeah. I was also gonna say, like, you could get away with, and I think they did unintentionally, just get away with, like, you don't even need to be on model when both of them just deform a lot. That's, like, a really good way to, like, just do animation as well.
Also, the domain expansion. So notoriously, hands are very hard to animate.
Yeah,
they are.
Great news!
Right there, that shit's fantastic.
Great news for MORO, though. This was all 3D animated.
I could tell.
Oh yeah, it
But,
very
like,
much was.
Deserved.
So he didn't have to draw a single hand.
Actually, had to draw one.
But yes, this did, like, most everything I wanted it to for this matchup. The only real criticism I have, we kind of talked over it, so I'll play it again once I find it. Nope, I want Mahito's rant.
Yeah, like that animation at the time is very clearly 3D, but it's good.
Scared little boy whose daddy was mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
That's a lot of hair.
Yes. And then, yeah, we get to Shigaraki's, rant.
I felt your soul too. You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally random. I hate them for a reason. You grow up.
You got Mahito running like a little bitch like I wanted. The ending dressing down wasn't quite as venomous as I would have hoped. Like, it still kind of gets...
I like it.
Yeah,
I actually like it a lot. Like, because I think, like... I think with a character like Mahito, something that is, like, kind of implied is that there is, like, some internal value system at all. Like, even, like, with nihilism, the thing is, like, to make a character that's a nihilist, you can't actually, because they're not really a character anymore. So I think like it is the most genuine criticism of him that there could possibly be, that like you are a nothing character. Nothing you do matters. Like, I think it just really cuts to the core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
I do completely agree. It's just like, I would have liked a little bit harder, I guess, but it still worked. It's still good. And yeah, I got my scene of All For One acting as Sukuna.
All For One just, why are you here?
Yeah, I popped off really hard when I watched that earlier today. It did pretty much everything I wanted to. Yeah, the main thing was just like, once I heard this was being animated by MORO, which, for those who may not be aware, MORO was the same guy who animated Bowser vs. Eggman. So very good at, this kind of, not hand-drawn, but you know what I mean.
Oh, I get it.
But
Don't
yeah.
tell me the joke.
Hands?
He's just a very talented animator, in my opinion. And this isn't like a knock against the rest of the team, but he's probably the most talented animator Death Battle has on lock. Just because like his shit is just so good and fluid. And also, this was apparently his only second time doing like any anime style characters. So like,
I mean, clearly killed it. And by it, I mean
this episode
Mahito.
looks great.
What did I say, Wiz?
They're gonna go like, what if
a
he ran
bitch.
away? Search
With their
quirk.
complex power sets, this match was a puzzle to figure out, which is why we're breaking it down to 3
No.
categories.
Okay, this was a puzzle made of corners, though.
they
Like, come
always
on,
say
man.
shit like that.
Yeah,
They-
but like they can't even. You can't say shit like that. That's just straight up not true for the
They
sake of
said
trying to.
This was this was a puzzle to figure out. Boomstick pulls out a ball in a cup.
they said Storm versus Korra was a close fight. Like, they say that shit all the time.
Wait, that was a
One
fucking
thing.
fight?
Could
Yeah.
Shigaraki even see
Oh my
Mahito?
God.
He's an invisible curse
They've
after
done a
all.
lot of
Cursed
different,
energy
like,
and quirks
variety
are
of that
notably
stuff.
different, and Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability
Yeah, this is his exact answer, just stated in the manga for Jujutsu Kaisen.
to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the search quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki's scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
He was faster, too, considering he could react to light beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. Nothing to scoff at, but Shiggy was thousands of times faster. Shigaraki takes stats.
But survivability was a little trickier to figure out.
Yep, in terms of raw durability, Shigaraki was a
Oh,
lot
yes, the
tougher.
pity
And
category.
his ability to generate new flesh
Yeah.
meant that he could heal any wounds he might receive super easy.
However, Mahito is a curse and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out. Not only that, Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short
So glad
of
we got to see the
spiritual
worm
damage.
again.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
Which presents a crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idle transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki had a lot more variety with all of the crazy quirks All For One had collected over all the years, but none that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean idle transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the the effects of idol transfiguration. The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And Shiggy has hundreds of soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges.
And
In
yeah,
fact,
there's
he was
the,
told to
That
damage
question earlier. As long as it can like touch a ghost, 1,000-0 matchup.
Yeah.
Deku's vestige and
Also, yeah, as this black box says, Mahito had basically one win con, and even that was pretty
have that damage transferred to the Deku in the real
not
world.
great.
Mahito may be made of spirit energy, but he still has a physical form. In fact, sorcerers that couldn't naturally target the soul were able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
Giving Shigaraki the third and final edge. It was a unique duel to the death, but Shigaraki's
Also, yeah, shoutouts to Mahito's one advantage.
His one advantage, that's right, healing, the strongest stat in every game.
For the disaster curse.
His one advantage, he can regenerate.
About what is a resource? What is considered a resource?
Hey, I'm gonna really quickly just point out they're talking about regeneration made him nearly impossible to kill while he's dying on screen.
And there's also, it's the first half of
right
a
underneath it.
Yeah, like the plus is the first half of a sentence, which is completely invalidated immediately in the next words.
Look, they had to give him something.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
Gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
The winner is Tomura Shigaraki.
Yeah, so next time.
Oh boy.
Next time
Was
on
Tekken
Death
letters?
Battle.
We played Tekken?
Oh, Doomslayer.
Oh.
Versus
No.
Master Chief.
No. No. Why? This is not even. It's not even remotely fucking fair.
People
What
voted
do
for
you
it.
mean?
People voted for
Wait.
it.
Hold on,
Wonder.
I am earnestly interested. Which side don't you think it's fair for? Because I could see people arguing
Doomslayer
either half.
demolishes Master Chief like it's nothing. Unfathomably.
Yeah, Master Chief gets cleared, I think.
Most likely.
That is an understatement. It doesn't matter what Doom.
Well, so here's the thing. And
The fucking screech
Yeah.
as Sprout disappeared made it sound like Sprout got hit by a fucking car mid-sentence. Sprout,
Reading
are
this
you good?
makes me feel like I, in fact, did that.
so here's the thing. Way back in season 1, they did Master Chief versus Doom Guy. This was
Yeah.
before the Doom reboots came out, and Master Chief did in fact win that.
Oh, okay. So people wanted the run back.
People wanted the run back because, Doom has gotten all this new material, and also because they want Doom.
And Halo's been coming out ever since. Imagine that.
We don't talk about 4, 5, and Infinite, okay? We don't talk about them. It ended at 3, and if you try to fight me on this, I will atomize myself before you get a chance to respond.
The diet act be like.
This was the one that also had like the Mewtwo versus Shadow. and the
Yeah,
Blades and
so
stuff. Yeah.
part of the Kickstarter, they did a rematch poll. The options I'm trying to remember were this: Shell versus Mewtwo, Scout versus Tracer.
God, please give that a redo. It deserves it.
It does. It does, but Ben 10 versus Green Lantern because Ben 10 fans still won't shut the fuck up about that episode. And
You don't understand. Alien X, much like Tiger Drop, negates all damage.
And Yang versus Tifa.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
This
also torn.
swept
sorry.
the poll like pretty
Tifa
handily.
fans can just go home with the fact that the other series is going to die. Like you have a perfectly good remake waiting for you. Go play it.
I think this was before, the whole Archie went down too, right? Or am I
No,
forgetting?
this was well after.
Okay. I just wanted Mewtwo versus Shadow because of the whole controversy.
Yeah, in my opinion, Shell versus Mewtwo probably should have been the one to win, because, like, Master Chief versus Doomslayer, even though it's old, the episode is perfectly serviceable. Unlike
I'm glad you showed me that one, the Mewtwo versus Shadow.
Unlike
I
Mewtwo.
need
context for this.
Hold on. I'm going to actually give you I was there. I'm showing my ass a little bit here. I went to the Death Battle panel at MagFest where I saw because the preview of Kratos versus Asura was going to be there. And listen, I am nothing if not consistent to exactly one part of the bit. The dude who I think wrote Shadow versus Mewtwo was on the panel. And when it was brought up, it was like wrote or like directed or something. It was somebody who was directly responsible for what happened there, right?
I was gonna say, describe him to me. I probably know who it is.
Buddy, you assume I remember anything of that panel besides
that's
the basic
fair.
strokes. My memory is so bad. But the part I'm getting to is that when people were bringing up, hey, people didn't really like that fight, he goes, yeah, no, when I'm searching up things of Shadow, I only find memes about Shadow, and it's not actually that serious. Nobody's that serious about Shadow. Look, I saw somebody wearing a Shadow shirt that said "nice cock." That means I'm right. And I wish I were like paraphrasing in more or less any way, but that is almost directly it.
I was mostly just asking because if it was Sam, that checks out. That guy has horrible takes on the regular.
Like, it was very clear that it was, like, being defensive, and it's just like, okay, but you are taking, like, a character that has, like, as somebody who thinks, like, I think Shadow's alright. Like, I don't have a poster up there, I don't kiss a Shadow doll before I go to bed every night or whatever the fuck, but I do definitely think that Shadow's an alright character. Even by that standard of just being, like, I think he's the coolest in like, yeah, I'll make jokes about him being the coolest all the time. It's Shadow the Hedgehog. People have a good time with this. Whatever. Let them have that good time.
I was going to say, especially because they did an episode later with Shadow the Hedgehog after that, where he was much better written.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very clearly like, hey man, you are kind of defending not even like a bad take, it's just straight up a wrong take. Your take isn't correct.
And I fight you with that take.
Yeah.
But that being said, well, there was one bad part to the third Shadow the Hedgehog episode, actually. That was the fact that it was voiced by Brendan Blaber, but that's besides the point. Going back to what I was originally saying, in my opinion, Shell versus Mewtwo probably should have been the one to win, just because,
yeah,
like,
that deserves a remake. 100%.
It's the one episode on the show that is just, like, blatantly unfinished.
Yeah.
Like, not even they left shit on the cutting room floor. No, it was just straight up not complete.
It's so funny. It's actually so funny.
I
have to
so
rewatch
bad.
it.
It's so bad.
I see that people in chat have been talking about the benefits of Chief versus the Doomslayer. I regret to say that the Doomslayer has had so much glazing over the years that I can't recall what's real anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of another aspect of why, like, probably...
Unfortunately, he does have a stupid amount of scaling now, and it's so dumb.
I'm fully aware. I played all the new Doom games.
That being said,
so bad.
Master Chief does have the suit that jerks him off.
No, it doesn't.
It
No,
doesn't
does.
jerk him off.
It does
doesn't
jerk him off. It does-
That's not.
it does
No,
do
it
that.
doesn't actually
No,
jerk
it
him
doesn't.
off.
They're almost damn near celibate. They don't need any.
My dad's Master Chief, and he told me that it jerks him off.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my god. Emily,
Listen,
Emily, help.
no one's gonna help you, Sprout. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, Sprout, you're kind of alone here.
I thought you were on
He
my side.
deserves to have a little.
What am I? You're guiding Moonlight? Get the fuck out of here.
Damn! You just
Emily's on
killed him!
whatever is the funniest at the exact moment she opens her mouth. You have to understand this.
I have no standards except for whatever is good at the time. Emily got on her broom and abandoned that hill real quick. Oh yeah, it was way funnier to leave that hill.
It's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.